Hey guys, welcome to Happy Hamlin Hustlin'. So today I figured I would show you how I wrap things that are breakable, usually cups. This is like my favorite way to wrap cups. And today I have these vintage crayon cups that Will found at a garage sale. And the crazy thing about these cups is they were glued, and so you can't use them for cups anymore, but you can use them for decoration, and they're cute. And so we just sold them. So I'm going to show you how I pack them. The first thing that I do is that I have these foam sleeves, and I have a bunch of different sizes. They're the foam sleeves that you would use to do plates or when you're moving. And so they're just like this, and they can hold, a great variety of things. The reason I like to use these is because I want to reinforce the handle, and so I don't want to tape on anything that we're selling. I don't want to put like our packing tape, but I need packing tape to be what holds our item steady when I do this next step. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to wrap it like this, and usually I'll put like a baby piece of tape on there. I love using this. I got this from Uline, so it's basically the giant one that copies this. But I run out of this tape fast, and this tape I think is only 1.5 inches, maybe 1.88 inches, so almost 2 inches. This is 3-inch tape, and so whenever I use it on a box, it covers the seam really well, so I'm not having to do 2 pieces of tape. And I like it, and I just love this little metal tape dispenser. So anyway, so what I have are little pieces of cardboard that are left over from when we do our boxes for our books. And so I just use that, so where the handle is, I just want to give it a little extra support. Just so, that's the part that's going to break, and that's going to be the part that tends to be an issue when you have a claim from somebody saying that something was damaged. So anyway, I just do a piece of tape across there just to steady it, and then I'm going to get my bubble wrap, and my bubble wrap, let's see, I used to do about 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. I was thinking I was at the right spot, but double check it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it. I have a small bubble wrap, and I just use a couple more layers of it because we have so many different things that we sell. To do the big bubble wrap, we'll run through it pretty fast. So I just use a small one. It's working great. If I feel like it needs some more padding, I can always do a layer of bubble wrap and then do some cardboard around it just to make it a little more break resistant. That's the goal of anybody doing reselling, is making sure that it is break resistant. So I'm just going to bundle this up. It's going to look like this. A nice little package. The handle's secure. This lid is in good shape. It's not going to chip or break. And so I'll wrap all 4 of these. And I'm going to pause this so that I can finish wrapping all these. And then I'm going to come back and show you what I do when I pack it in the box. Okay, so I'm back. Finish up this last one. One thing I was going to say is on our shipping supplies, I buy bubble wrap from American Bubble Boy, and they have lots of great options on there, all different sizes. And then I buy the foam plate holders or whatever. I buy those on Amazon. And then let's see what else. And then of course the cardboard that I use for the handle is just from scrap pieces of cardboard. One thing that makes it easier is if you have cardboard that's really stiff, that's not bending well, you can get, I always have a little razor blade thing. You can just kind of slice some little lines in it and it'll bend easy. And so you can use that trick to help bend your cardboard, especially if you have something really big that you're going to wrap, that you're trying to protect. Like, I don't know if I have anything here that's bigger. I mean, maybe like one of these cups, like a dish or something like this. Like maybe I would wrap a bigger piece of cardboard and it's not going to bend as easily, and so I'll slice some lines around the cardboard so that wraps around there easily. So that's just a little tip and trick that you can use. The other thing that I use is this. So it's this big long thing of paper. You can get it from Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's actually for you to protect your floors. So it's pretty cheap. It's so whenever you're doing a construction job, you can just get this paper and tape it down and make it to where you have a walkway where people aren't messing your floors up. So we use it for shipping materials. So one of the things that I do is I will clear, and you don't have to use this kind. This is just sturdy, and so I like to use it. I also get all these awesome boxes. My brother saves boxes for me from his work. That has saved us an enormous amount of money on shipping. And people at Will's work save boxes for him for our cardboard to wrap our books in. We custom make a box for every book that we send out, just to make sure that it's sturdy and it's not going to get damaged in shipping. And so we used to send them out in big boxes, and we're like, I would send them out in like poly bags, and they got damaged. And so we had to come up with a different plan. And so one of the things that we did was we saw this box from a book that I'd ordered for my mom. When she wrote her story, they mailed it to us in this custom cardboard box. And I was like, oh, this is what we're going to copy, and we're going to do this. So we use their box as a template, and we make our own boxes now for each book that we sell or magazine. And so my husband gets that from his work because they do home improvement, and so whenever they have these big showers that they install, or bathtubs or windows, they get these really giant pieces of cardboard, and so we just use those and cut them down to size to what we need. But you don't have to get that. You can get boxes anywhere. Like our friends and family, I tell them what size box I need, and they will start saving those for me, and it's super helpful. It's been the best thing ever, is to have people that will save me, like if they were moving and they save me their moving supplies, or I'll use their old bubble wrap, or I'll use their newspaper that they were using to wrap stuff in. So anyway, it's super helpful. So just ask your people, and you may be surprised at what free shipping supplies you can get that helps your business, and it helps your people, because then you're helping them get rid of stuff that they don't want, and it doesn't go to waste. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm crumpling this paper just to kind of give it a base in my box. So it's going to look like that. And then I'm going to place these cups in their little, in their bubble wrap. And I'm going to place those in this box. And I might not need that paper, because these are so fluffy, I might not even need the paper. That would be great. Let's see, let me try it without the paper. So sometimes I'll put the paper in there just to make sure that it has an extra layer so that it doesn't move around. But these are going to be big enough for me. They're fluffy. Let's see if they will fit. I might even be standing up. That's part of this job, is you're constantly going, okay, how do I fit this, and where does this go, and what's the best way to do this? And you might wrap something and go, nope, that's not good enough. Okay, I think I like that. Yeah. So I'm just going to put some little bits of paper in between. Ooh, that big piece of paper wants to come visit. I'm just going to tear up some pieces of paper. I'm going to put it between these cups like so. And then I'm going to put some on the side. I also have packing peanuts. And I want to say, I think I ordered those from Uline as well. Oh yeah, I do. It's on the bag. So I have a giant bag of packing peanuts, and it's really funny to watch your UPS guy deliver that. He has to hold it like a person and carry it up there. It'll be just huge. It's as big as a person when you order the packing peanuts. And those are really great to fill in the gaps like what I'm doing right here. But especially like if you're sending plates or things like that that are really fragile. So whenever you're packing your boxes, you want to make sure there's not any extra room for your items to move around in, because that's really how they get damaged. You can wrap them super well and then turn around and they start moving around while it's being shipped, and man, you will just have all kind of troubles. Sorry about all this paper sound. It's part of the shipping experience. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so it's gonna look like this in the end. When they get it, they're gonna be like, oh, they sent me some trash. So then I'm gonna tape this box up. And this is not required. I just like having this extra peace of mind. I like taping my ends on these boxes just to make sure, because you just never know when something's going to get hit really hard. And I want my box to be really sturdy, especially when I'm shipping breakables. So I tape all the corners. I've already done that on this side. So I tape it on the edge and I tape it on the seam. But then the box is a lot more sturdy and a lot less prone to just kind of get loose and fall over and open up on one side. And so I always try to make sure that it's very sturdy. And then you want to be pretty confident, very confident actually, that this is going to survive if some big 20-pound box or 50-pound box falls on it, that it's not going to crush. So when you're reusing materials, if it's a box that is not in good condition, don't do that, because it's not worth the headache of going to have to go and refund your people and get your stuff back and see if you can sell it again. It's just not worth it. So it's great to do it right the first time, and then you have a really great package that you feel safe and confident that it's going to make it, as long as UPS or the Postal Service or FedEx delivers it correctly on time. I currently have a package that I shipped out, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and it is still bouncing around. And my poor little person keeps sending me snapshots of where the box is now, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I mean, it's not me, it's the Postal Service, but it's still just like, I'm so sorry that that's happened. So after I box that up, then I'll input everything into my phone, which is currently recording me, so I can't do that right now. But I'll input it in my phone. What I do is I'm going to have to weigh it. So this box, and I just have a simple scale that you would use in your kitchen. That's what we started out with. And then we ended up getting a bigger one for Will, so that has a screen that's on a cord, so you can move the weight screen, because if I have a really big box, I can't see the screen here, and it's quite comical trying to read what it says. So this box is going to be 1 pound, and it says 13.9, so I'm just going to round that up to 1 pound 14 ounces. If you're not certain that your scale is doing a good job, then you can always round it up, to the 2 pounds or whatever, or the next ounce, just to make sure that you're covered. Because the post office will charge you if you don't have it correct. And then once I do that, I'm going to measure it. And I just have this handy dandy sewing tape measure that's easy for all my measuring needs. Will actually uses a square, like what you would use in construction. He puts that in his booth, in his little picture booth, and he uses that all the time. But I like this sewing one. So I measure the box. So what you're doing is you're getting my brain just went clear. There's an actual word for this, but I think about Brian Regan. I want to say it's the girth units. Anyway, you're getting what the measurements are of the inside of the box, so that the postal system knows, you know, how to ship it, because it's not just about the weight, it's also about the size. So I'm going to measure the top, and that's going to be 9.75 inches, and then I'm going to go across and measure the width, and it's going to be 10 inches, and then I'm going to measure up and down, and it's going to be 8 inches. So whenever you are posting your items to sell, you want to make sure that you give space for what box you're going to use. And if you're going to have to double box it, like if I was sending out some of these cups, I might double box it. So I might get a small box like this. Yet another one from my brother. I might get a small box like this and put, you know, wrap that cup like I did before. And then I might put that cup, you know, wrapped in here, and then put it in another box that's slightly bigger. Or I might have multiple cups that I've sold, and so then I might put several boxes inside just to make sure that it does not break. Especially like, for instance, this cup right here is a good example. This cup is very expensive. It's a Villeroy and Bosch cup, and this is not made anymore. It was made in West Germany, and this is worth a chunk of change. I want to say this cup is like maybe $30 or $40 just for this one cup. So you always want to make sure that your items get there, and so whatever you have to do to make sure, you want to prepare for that when you're measuring, and you put that in your description. You can always go lower and say, oh, okay, it wasn't that big, and you can adjust it. But you really want to make sure you've thought enough about, like, about how much is this going to weigh. So, and as you do it a lot, then it just becomes second nature. Like, I just know, okay, that's going to be, if it's weighing 1 pound 5 ounces, then I'm just going to go ahead and say it's 2 pounds. Now, because of the new shipping things that the post office is doing, I will not go over 2 pounds unless it is going to weigh over 2 pounds. Because once it hits that 2 pounds 1 ounce, then you get this ridiculous shipping discount that they're giving people right now, because they're trying to compete with UPS and FedEx, so that you'll send more of your bigger items, I guess kind of really your medium-sized items, through them. So they're giving a really big shipping discount right now, which is great on my budget. But if I said that the smaller item was, say it was 2 pounds 2 ounces, and then it actually only weighed 1 pound 5 ounces, then I'm going to be stuck with a bigger bill, because it is more expensive right now to ship smaller packages. So you just want to make sure that it's under the 2 pound 1 ounce. If you're kind of playing with numbers, just to make sure you're covered on your end on shipping, because you don't necessarily know exactly how much it's going to cost when you're doing it. So when you're guesstimating, be real careful so that you don't owe the postal system more money than you're planning. So anyway, so I will input those numbers, and then I will print off my tag. I have a really great printer. It's called a Munban, and that's also on Amazon. I would say after a scale and some measuring device, and obviously good tape and shipping supplies, this would be my next purchase in a business, because this makes your life so much easier. Because the stickers that you're putting on there, they're heat transfer, way cheaper than using your printer. And then it's just so much easier, because then you're not adding extra tape to everything. You're not having to hope that piece of paper doesn't tear that you printed off your printer. You can do that for a while, and you can also take a QR code to your post office, and they'll print it off for you. But it's just, that would be my next business purchase if you're going to do this as a business. So anyway, then after I do that, I stick my sticker on there for my address, and then I also have these little Happy Mail stickers that say thank you, and it says Happy Mail from the Hustlin' Ham Fam. And so we put that on all of our packages, and then it will be ready to ship out and hopefully make it there in a perfect way, and it will, you know, have great results. So anyway, if you have any other questions, you can message me. You can ask away. If I know the answer, I'll let you know. And if I don't know the answer, then I will go look it up for you. So anyway, hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.